Hi, good morning B-Sides. It's my honour to kick off the rookie track today, and I am very excited to be here. There's a lot of amazing talks and workshops and lockpicks. I have the opportunity to play with some lockpicks today, which is exciting because I like learning new things. And I'm here today to learn and to push myself out of my comfort zone, and also to share a little bit about my struggle to break into the industry. Or switch my thing on. Let's go. Hang on. Did work before. Hang on. Let's go. Yeah, it's plugged in. There we go. I'll do it the old-fashioned way. I'm sure some of you are here to listen to me today to tell you how to get into cybersecurity, but I'll give you a little clue. I don't really know. I'm stuck on the outside trying to get in. I submitted this talk late one night, months ago, because I'd missed out on the tickets for this conference. And what I really wanted to do was sit here where you guys are and listen to somebody explain to me how to get in. The title of my talk, which seemed like a good idea at the time, came out of frustration, because when I'm reading about this industry, I see stat after stat saying that in the next 5 years, we'll face a global shortfall of about 1.8 million workers. 46% of UK companies say the lack of personnel is having a significant impact on their customers, and yet so many people, just like me, can't get in. So what exactly am I doing to get in? I'll give you an example. The guy in charge of cyber for the company that I work with came to do a talk. Oops, it's going all wrong. Oh dear, it's one of those days. I made it clear that I would be interested in working with his team. I found him on LinkedIn and Twitter. I may have sent him an email as well, which was probably borderline stalkerish, but I heard nothing. I think one reason that he's not come back to me is that my CV does not currently have a job title that has cyber in it. No experience, so no further discussion. And it's not just him, though. A study that I mentioned earlier identified the main barrier to entry into this sector is a continuing refusal to hire people without previous experience. 93% of European and UK employers prioritise job candidates with previous experience. So there is a shortfall and there is a demand. My strengths report sounds like somebody who will fit in well in this industry. I'm analytical. I search for reasons and causes and think about all the factors that might affect a situation. I have a gift for figuring out how people who are different can work together. I'm a learner and I desire continuous improvement. I'm organised, reliable, dependable, efficient and consistent. And on top of all those skills, I read extensively across the industry. I share my thoughts on LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm passionate. And to top it off, I have my entry-level security clearance as well. And it's still not enough. Not enough to get the recruiter, who my mentor very kindly said was interested to see my CV, to come back to me. And I asked myself, what hoops do I actually have to jump through to get in? So as I sat at my desk and looked at the B-Sides website and the theme for this year's conference, remembering that I got my in to being a digital project manager by standing up at a conference similar to this one, I thought that perhaps the hoop that I need to jump is getting out here and connecting with you who are already here. When I graduated, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I didn't want to go into teaching like my friends. I left uni and I drove all the way through France and Spain, down and across to Tenerife, and I lived there for quite some time, and I did all sorts of jobs. I learned about computers, duplex modems, VoIP, emails. I learned it all back in the 90s. I had friends all over the world through online chatting. I educated my boss about attaching a spreadsheet to an email. I pushed things forward, and I made best use of the opportunities that computer allowed, and I learned. I moved back to the UK, actually not very far from here, just down the road in fact, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I did recruitment, I worked in the city. There didn't seem to be much call for HTML. My skills just didn't quite fit, and I'm sure that some of you here today can relate to that. I also learned the hard way not to trust. My computer was used by everybody in the house, and some of them were not playing nice. I had a knock at the front door, my computer was bagged and tagged, there was a prosecution under the Computer Misuse Act, not me I might add. I lost my faith, and I'm now cautious about taking anything for granted. However, there were people like you in this room who helped and supported me. My hacks were developed to keep the people closest to me safe. Now I am just like you in this room, vigilant, using the knowledge that I have accumulated to keep an eye on things that are deliberately kept from me. I started a second degree in computing because I thought I wanted to write code. I did years 1 and 2, but didn't finish as it just wasn't right for me. I'm not a coder, I can do it, but I didn't get any fun out of it. I found that I get more from supporting and enabling the people who do write the code, who do the things that you do. I'm better at figuring people. I met Freaky Clown, who has actually joined us here today. I didn't realise you were going to be here, but thank you. When I was helping out at a conference back in 2012, Hack to the Future. He was there to inspire the kids, but actually he inspired me. I don't look like your archetypal scary hacker dude. No, I don't look anything like you at all. And I am a hacker, but I don't look like you guys mostly. As Freaky described the skills that he used in his career, I mentally ticked off the ones that I shared with him. He opened my eyes to an industry where my skills, the ones that are not on my CV, could be put to good use. Not long after that, I got my first tech job as a digital project manager, and it's where I've been ever since. My girls are getting older and need me less and less, and I want to take the skills that I've developed over the last few years to look after them and put them to wider use, just like Freaky and the people in this room. At Expo in April this year, I listened and watched Kevin McKitnick demo his hacking skills, which was impressive. Not quite as impressive as Mr. Coulson, my mentor, doing his best fanboy impression, but pretty good. I listened to Jenny Radcliffe describe the skills that she uses to track people down, the linking from person to person and finding out about them. And I smiled to myself, because that's what I do in preparation for my interviews when I know who is going to be on the panel. Or after I've met somebody at a networking event, I open source intel and I try and join the dots and see the links. Sometimes I think that it's not just the lack of previous experience that is stopping my entry into the sector. When I read about the most recent graduates from the Cyber Retraining Academy in InfoSec magazine, there was a quote from Stephen Jones, the MD of the SANS Institute. He highlighted the lack of women on the most recent course. Out of the 55 students who completed the course, only 6 were female. He said it was disappointing and that he needs to work out how to get more women involved. Any guesses what I did next? Yep, that's right. It was natural for me to go and have a look for Stephen Jones and have a little search around so that I could let him know my thoughts as to why there were only 6 women. I let my fingers do the searching. Luckily, it wasn't that difficult. We actually shared 3 connections on LinkedIn, and as a second connection, I could send him an invitation to link up, no problem. And so whilst I was linking in, I thought that I would let him know my thoughts on why he only had 6 women on the course. And just in case anyone says, as they did on Twitter when I posted about this, that's just the same issues, all the same issues for guys. Yep, I totally agree with you. Yes, exactly the same issues can affect both men and women. But the point that Stephen raised was the lack of women, not guys, and that's what I wanted to talk to him about. Unsurprisingly, I didn't get a reply from him. He didn't come back to me to explore my views as to why they only had 6 women, which is a shame, because he has the power to do something about this. A few weeks later, he did actually link up, and whilst discussing this presentation, my mentor asked me if I would like him to have a word with Stephen, to which I replied that I would be stupid if I said no. It would be a wonderful opportunity. If Stephen were here today, I would let him know that if he wanted someone to help him get more women to participate in his course, I am available to advise. I could discuss some of the barriers to entry that people like me encounter, and perhaps together we could make sure that that next course is a bit more equitable. Because diversity is good for teams and companies, study after study shows that diverse companies and teams perform better. When I worked out the maths, 6 women out of a class of 55 is almost bang on the global average. Only 11% of cyber professionals across the globe are women. Sadly, in the UK, numbers of women in the industry fell from 10% in 2015 to just 8% in March this year. And the reason? Studies have shown that women can inadvertently be screened out by employers' hiring criteria. The industry's recruitment is stuck in a bubble. If you approach the same candidate pool that you've been approaching for the past 10 years, you are going to get the same results. And that is short-sighted because there are not enough people like the ones who are sat in this room and the industry needs to think more creatively about this. I am a bit of a hacker. We all are sat in this room. But I'm not a pen tester or a DBA or any of the things listed here. I am a servant leader, someone who focuses on the growth and well-being of people, who shares power and puts the needs of others first and helps people to develop. I am the one who looks after the customers. I convert tech speak to English or manager speak to worker speak. You get the idea. These are not skills that are easily put on a CV, probably the same as you guys. I have difficulty in finding those boxes to tick on LinkedIn. Everyone in this room has a skill set, but probably not many qualifications, and I am stuck there too. HR is broken. I can't apply for the jobs in your organisation because my CV doesn't say I do all these things. So what am I supposed to do? Stretch my CV? Maybe. But then where are my qualifications to back up what I say? So I am back to my original question, how the fuck do I break in? Really, how? Your recruitment teams don't make it easy. Your recruitment practices have made this industry impossibly hard to get into. This was a comment on my blog. Security is tough. Ignoring the mansplaining, what this guy was actually talking about was security in general. But actually, everything he says can be applied to getting a job in the industry. You are making your job so difficult to get. I get it. I know why it's tough. It's important that we get it right. When I found out that a girl at my daughter's school was injured and her mother killed at the Manchester Arena last month, the only thing that I could think about was, what if? What if that had happened at the same time as the malware attack that had hit the NHS the 10 days before? Would the ambulances have got to where they needed to go? Would the systems be resilient enough to cope? And yes, I understand the need to be selective, but you also need people to do the job, and you will not be able to protect anybody unless you have people to do it. So like he says, you have so many opportunities, amazing opportunities. Not everybody who applies will have exactly what you need. But here is the thing. If you get the people with the right skill set, you will be able to train them on those specific skills that you need. Every person in this room today almost certainly did not have all the skills that they needed when they got the job. Somebody gave you the opportunity to learn as you went along. Your recruitment systems have to stop looking for the unicorns and think wider, so that people like me can break into this industry and help you make the world a better and safer place. Thank you very much.